Okay. All right, so let's start with downloading the program. Where is this? Okay, here. Let me download this. Okay, I have here. And now I'm going to just okay, I'm going to make a directory. I make a wrong name, but that's okay. So I'm going to use the tar command to just extract the file I just have. I think I downloaded under here, ECS homework 1, is that right? Part 1. Okay, so I download this file using this command, tar with option zxvf, which will help me to load it up. So you can see that I'm actually extract 5 different files under this directory. Okay, so now what you have is this one. Okay, I actually provide you both the source code of server and the client, but we're going to only need the client side. The server side is really for your knowledge about how I actually implement. So the client server, they will be able to talk to each other with the inter-process communication. Okay, and you see that I have a file called ecs36b master. Okay, this file in my real server, it contains all your student record. But the record I give you, I hope I didn't mess up this one. It actually only contains one record, which is my record, which is a fake one. Okay, and you can see that. But the real server, as you 3 of you already tried, has your record there. So which means that if you run the program, your record is not found, which means you need to let me know. Either you haven't been registered correctly or somehow your data is missing. Okay, so what you do first is just type make. Okay, make file will automatically build the program for you, and then it will have this program called ecs36b hw1 client. So I'm going to run that program. So by the way, you will ask the question, just in case you're not very familiar with Unix, and you see I said a /. Okay, the thing is that Unix has a what we call the execution path. It's looking for executable. If you don't put that /, sometimes it will not work. Let me actually just try it. I see whether this will work for my computer. It won't work, okay? I have to add a // for my environment because I specify that's the current directory. You should look for that executable. All right, so when I run the program without any argument, is saying that, oh, wait a minute, you didn't give the right amount of information to run this program. So I'm going to have, I have to say IP address. Okay, IP address, by the way, as I specify in the homework, that's the server's IP address is 169.237. I think 6.102, okay? And the port number is important because communication, you have to know where's the IP address. IP address represent where the host or where the server is. And the port number, I think I gave it to 1600, is that right? Let me check my homework specification, 95600, yeah. Okay, 95600, and then I'm going to give my student ID. The student ID, you put yours, mine is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Make this smaller, please. Okay, then I'm happy this way. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so now I'm actually enter all the parameter, and now I'm actually getting the result. Okay, this is the result. If the status is successful, that means this has been done, the record is correct. So I'm actually log everything in the server side. So I know you have successfully tried. So that's how I am going to see whether you have done this part of the homework, because I see that you submit the right student ID and with a bunch of information. Okay, so any question right now up to this point?
Uh, I have a question actually.
Sure, go ahead.
Once I typed the tar dxvf thing, it said it contains about no such directory or file.
Okay,
Why is that?
but do you have a tar command? You have the tar command. Where did you run the program? Is this on a CSIF machine or on your local computer?
On my local computer, and I connected to CSIF.
Okay, okay, that's fine. So have you downloaded this file? Have you download?
Yeah,
Is this in the current directory? Is this where did you save this file?
I moved it to the desktop.
Okay, then if you move it to the desktop, but you're running it on CSIF, is that right?
Yeah,
Okay, so it's a two different computer because the file is on your local computer, but you're running the tar command on the CSIF. It's a two different machine. One is at the university server farm, and one is on your local computer. So your local tar file cannot get it. So what I suggest you can do two ways. One is that if your local computer has a Linux environment, either you're using Mac OS Linux or you're using Windows 10 with WSL, then you can actually directly run it locally on your machine, which you can do immediately. If you really want to do CSIF, you need to use a command called SFTP, Secure File Transfer Protocol, to transfer the file of this ecs36b f2020 hw1 part1 tar gz to CSIF, and then you can do tar, because now it couldn't find it because it's not on that computer yet. Okay.
if I work on my computer on the Linux environment, I do not need to connect to CSIF, right?
You don't need to. You don't need to. You
Okay.
For this homework assignment, you only need to use CSIF when you do hand in.
Yeah, yeah.
When you hand in.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. So now I'm going to show you something quite interesting. On my screen, you see that it's actually the server is not just receiving your student ID and try to give you a record, but also it's very important that the server is actually watching where you're coming from, So it's actually checking your IP address and tell you what they see you're connecting from this IP address. So you can see that when I run the program, it says IP address is equal to 169.237.233.18, and the port number is 48218, okay? And this is a place I want to show you. I'm actually getting that because I'm actually using VPN. I'm using VPN connect to the university, and then I run this program. So it's actually see my IP address is a UC Davis. So I'm going to disconnect my VPN. So here I'm going to disconnect my VPN. Okay, I disconnect my VPN. I'm going to run the same program again. Running exactly the same thing. Okay, I'm still getting the successful story, but you see that now I'm actually getting a different IP address. That this is the IP address is the IP address assigned to my house by Comcast. All right, so you can see that, okay, VPN is make a difference, and then you can actually still, so with or without VPN, you will be able to talk to our server because the server is using a special port that the university won't block. Like, I mean, some of the servers, the university say you have to use VPN. But in this case, because I'm using a different port number, university don't care and let us directly run into that. Okay, so you should be able to do your homework without worrying anything like a CSIF, a VPN or whatever. You can just connect like this. Okay, even more interesting is that I want to say that there is another command I talk about is called ifconfig. Oh, too much. All right. But anyway, ifconfig actually shows the IP address of my current machine, which is usually somewhere here in EN0. So you see that my IP address is this one. My local IP address is this one. And somehow that's 10.0.0.51. That's what we call a private address. And if you run this again, it would say my IP address is 76.20.47.100. So which means that I'm actually, the host I am in is behind a device called NAT. NAT stands for Network Address Translation. Let me actually just write down here. So I want you to just get exposed to some of the concept, especially we're in the coronavirus quarantine, that a lot of us are actually behind NAT, but we still communicate. And you can actually, using the simple program client server, you can actually see the IP address differences, and then we can still communicate. Okay, so that's kind of my hidden agenda for you to work on this program. It's not just verify your record, but also you will be able to see some of the environment that you're in. And also you see that the port number is different as well, that when you're actually connecting to, okay? All right, so that's actually a very simple homework assignment number one. Just to let you know also, some of you probably already got it, is that homework assignment number two has also been released. I'm going to do a demo for homework assignment number two as well, because today we don't have enough time. Okay. Any question before I go back to the part two of homework assignment number one? Okay, I'm going to use the remaining time to talk about homework assignment number two. By the way, where's my homework assignment number two? Okay, must be somewhere here. Yeah, this one is already VPN done. No, I don't want to show this screen. Okay. Let me stop recording first, and then I will